Alright, so today we returned to Tycoon RNG because I'm doing a follow-up video from my first one. Because obviously in that first one, we went ahead and pretty much covered all the basics, gave you guys a general understanding of the game, which I'd like to point out, if you have not seen that video, make sure that you guys go ahead and click on the eye that's going to pop up on the top right-hand side right now, which will lead you directly to that video where you'll get a better general understanding of how everything works inside of your Tycoon. In today's video though, we're going to go ahead and cover on how you guys can make the most amount of cash. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone because at the end of the day, this is an RNG game, so it's all based off of luck. No matter if you have 600,000 rolls or 1,000 rolls, the setup is pretty much going to be different for everyone, but hopefully I'm going to do a good job in today's video and I'll be able to give you guys a solution no matter what you got going on. Also, I apologize if you guys hear the lawnmower in the background. They're cutting my grass, so sorry about that. Now, as I'm sure you guys can see, a lot has changed in the last 2 days since I made my last video. Your boy's earning about 21 UD, sometimes as high as 35 UD, inside of my pretty much completely maxed out Tycoon. And for the most part right now, I'm sort of running, I guess, like a fire hybrid build, which I'm going to be honest, I don't even think it classifies as that because I also have a couple of vulnerability things. But I mean, for the most part, I'm sort of depending on fire right now to make me the most amount of cash. Now, at some point through this video, closer to the end, I'll go ahead and give you guys a full tour of my entire Tycoon in case you want to copy it for whatever reason. And I would also like to point out that I have gone ahead and finally gotten myself the Galaxy Rapture Aura, even though for the most part, I'm sort of rocking the Golden Gaze. Either way, now that we've got that all out of the way to give you guys a quick little update on everything that's happened so far, let's get into kind of like the important stuff for this video. Because honestly, it's no surprise that the game has completely blown up over the last 48 hours. The game is averaging about 20,000 players now. And honestly, as we get closer to the weekend, it's probably going to get crazier. But the thing is that I'm noticing a lot of people are completely missing out on something that is pretty much handed to us thanks to two individuals in the community. For the next portion of this video, we're going to go ahead and transfer over to the Discord server for this game so I can show you guys something that you may not even know exists, and it's going to be extremely helpful for some of you guys that are kind of confused right now. All right, so here we are inside of the Blue Bamboo Games Discord server. On the left-hand side, under the Video Games tab, you're going to see a channel called Help. Go ahead and click on that, and then in the top right-hand corner, you're going to go to the pinned messages. In here, you're going to find a bunch of information, such as a breakdown of the rarity colors, detailed information on the button puzzle that's in the game, which has not been discovered except for maybe by one person. If you guys are interested in me doing a video on this, let me know in the comments because I've actually been trying to figure out about the button puzzle, and it's actually been a little bit fun, even though there really isn't that much information. But more specifically, what I'm talking about was right under the button puzzle lore post, and that is the link to build guides. Once you click on that link, you will be taken to this Google Doc that I have opened on the screen right now. Huge shout out to A Lonely Galaxy as well as Degenerate Freak Show for putting together this entire thing. It's really helpful, actually, even for someone like me. It breaks down a lot of questions and gives you answers for specific things that are just not really explained very well within the game. But on top of that, they also provide you guys with a bunch of different builds, time builds, vulnerability, fueled, wet, fire, as well as magnetic. Using fire as an example here, it'll tell you what droppers you need to have. Obviously, there's different variants that you can have of this. It's just telling you the generalized dropper that you need. And then obviously, if you have an overclocked golden version or a gold version or a negative or overclocked negative, whatever it may be, it obviously isn't rocket science that the better the variant you have, the more money you're going to be making. Now, I'm sure looking at this is still a little bit overwhelming because you're probably like, well, it doesn't really explain where you place them down and stuff like that. And that's why every single one of the builds here, they sort of have like a breakdown at the bottom that explains everything. Not only does it tell you where you need to put everything, but it also explains to you what the best auras are for specifically this build. If you remember at the start of the video, I told you that I've been mainly using Golden Gaze. The reason for this is because I went ahead and looked at my entire layout and I came to the conclusion that realistically Golden Gaze is exactly what I need for what I'm majority running, and I get far better performance than Infernal could pretty much ever give me, at least until I'm able to go ahead and do a full fire build. If this portion here is still confusing for you, they even have a simplified formula at the bottom that tells you quite literally borderline holding your hand through the entire building process. Now, I fully understand that some of you do not have access to Discord or cannot join these servers. So for that reason, I'll have a link to the Google Doc at the very top of the description of this video. Again, I had absolutely no part in the making of this Google Doc or in any type of input for it. I'm just basically sharing sharing it with you guys. Shout out to the two individuals that I said earlier on in the video. They've gone ahead and done this completely by themselves. Also, shout out to my buddy over here, Avoided, for now officially making almost 500 UD. Kind of insane, dude. And honestly, he's kind of has like a really crazy hybrid layout going on here. There really isn't any type of consistency going on. There's a little bit of pretty much everything. We got vulnerability, fire. We also have, even on the first floor, a little bit of magnetic. So it's kind of like a really big mix of just a bunch of different things. But honestly, it's not very comparable considering he has absolutely insane luck. I don't know how he does it, but he just does. Me, on the other hand, it's been like a solid 3 days since I get really a crazy drop. So I'm a little sad about that, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully the Google Doc helps a lot of you guys, especially with the cash making. I've been reading your comments. I understand that it's a little confusing at first. I mean, man, I've been playing this for a week now, and even going through that Google Doc, I was like, oh, dude, there's a lot of different things that I can change in my Tycoon to make it a lot better. And it actually did help me out a lot. Before I started recording this, I was making about 1 to 2 UD. I was able to bump that up all the way to 25 UD on a consistent basis just by making a couple of changes with items that I already had. With that being said, let's go ahead and give you guys sort of a quick little tour here. So the vast majority of my droppers are galvanic surges. If you take a look around up here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 galvanic surges up here. I also have 1 contamination, 1 celestial light, as well as 1 floral obliterator. For the upgraders at the very top, you have a heavenly ruins, as well as a moonlight temple. Somehow I just fell into the chute, which is insane. This has never happened to me. Anyways, we're good now. Moving on to my second floor, I have an abyssal chains over here, as well as pretty much my best item that I pretty much own, which is a 1 in 28.5 million, and that is a overclocked negative heavenly ruins with a 434 times multiplier. After that, I have a steam engine and then a bloodstruck ritual, which I'd like to go ahead and correct myself from my video the day before yesterday, where I said that it goes ahead and adds all of these individual things. That's not true. Basically, if an ore goes through that's timed, wet, air, putrid, fire, acid, vulnerable, it gives it that multiplier. I already went ahead and said this in the comments of that video, but I just wanted to go ahead and correct myself in this one. Moving on to my very first floor, we're going to go ahead and have a heavenly ruins again. I know I'm pretty much spamming heavenly ruins, but it's really been the items that I get that have the highest multiplier, which is kind of hurting me. And I really want to get my hands on some other stuff that's better. But again, it's an RNG game. It's really out of my control. After that, we got an extreme heat, gates of calamity. Just went ahead and made this adjustment over here before I started the video, where I added an auroral tundra right after, which removes a fire, but every single time that it removes a fire, it actually adds a 1.2 times multiplier. And if you notice, right before, the gates of calamity is adding fire. So this is something that I specifically learned inside of the Google Doc, helped me a lot. Moving on, we have the sunstone pylon, another abyssal chain, then over here the steampunk override, and finally another bloodstruck ritual, finishing it off with my furnace being the void shrine, my ultimate drop that I've gotten so far, which is a 1 in 35.6 million. So yeah, man, just another kind of like helpful video for you guys. And I know that not everyone is aware of this, and not really everyone looks at pinned messages inside of the channel. So the moment that I saw this, I knew that I needed to make a video on it just to really get the word out there. This doc is really good. And even if it doesn't have the absolute most optimal builds, it does have some really good ones that are going to help out a lot of the starter players that are super confused. The only downside that I will say is that they kind of recommend that you're at least level 8 in your Tycoon, which, I mean, to be honest, is not really all that difficult to get to. I pretty much made it all the way to level 8 Tycoon completely free to play, and then I started to purchase the game passes after that, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. Either way, if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments. The final thing that I'll go ahead and sort of squeeze in here is some of you asking me about the Horizon event and how you're able to get that. Just to let you guys know, every single one of these boosts, they drop inside of the map. You've probably seen, especially yesterday, there was a developer by the name of Lua Class as well as Blob that were dropping a bunch of assortment drops. Unfortunately, it's just a really rare chance for you to be able to get it through there. So just keep a lookout. You definitely can't miss it. It's like a giant orb that spawns. Walk up to it, pick it up, and that'll get you one step closer to your galaxy rapture, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like. Thank you so much for all the support on the first video. We should be having an update this Friday, man. So I'm excited for that. We'll obviously have a video up here on the channel. That's gonna do it for this one. Like always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.